Hey there, fellow gamers and tech enthusiasts. Welcome back to Nerdy Throwback Tech, where we take a nostalgic journey into the world of graphics cards from yesteryears. Today, we're diving into the archives to revisit a card that once brought mid-range gaming performance to the forefront. I'm talking about the AMD Radeon R9 380. Released back in 2015, the Radeon R9 380 was a popular choice for gamers looking to strike the perfect balance between performance and affordability. It had its heyday handling the latest titles at 1080p. But how does it hold up in 2023? Join me as I take a trip down memory lane, exploring its specs, gaming benchmarks, and whether it still has what it takes to power your gaming adventures today. So, buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into the AMD Radeon R9 380, a true classic in the world of gaming GPUs. As usual, let's start with a little history first. The AMD Radeon R9 380 is a graphics card that was released by AMD in June 2015 as part of their Radeon 300 series of GPUs. It's based on the graphics core Next 3 architecture and was designed to provide solid 1080p gaming performance and good value for gamers on a budget. Graphics core Next was introduced to replace the older Terascale architecture and has been used in various AMD Radeon GPUs starting with the HD 7000 series, which launched in 2011. These iterations include GCN1, GCN2, GCN3, GCN4, and GCN5. Each iteration brought enhancements to performance, power efficiency, and feature support. It's worth noting that AMD has since transitioned to the RDNA or Radeon DNA architecture, starting with the Radeon RX 5000 series GPUs, which brought further advancements in performance and efficiency. RDNA is the successor to GCN and represents AMD's ongoing commitment to GPU technology development. The main competitor of the AMD Radeon R9 380 when it was released in 2015 was NVIDIA's GeForce GTX 960. Both of these graphics cards were positioned as mid-range options. NVIDIA's Maxwell architecture, on which the GTX 960 was based, was known for its power efficiency. The GTX 960 had a lower TDP compared to the Radeon 380, making it a more power-efficient choice. Ultimately, the choice between the Radeon R9 380 and the GeForce GTX 960 often came down to personal preference, brand loyalty, or specific game performance, as both cards were competitive in the mid-range gaming segment. The card today is from MSI, and it's a very nice one. I bought it from eBay, but it looks very well preserved. Comes with its original box, which is rare on the second-hand market. The R9 380 codename is Tonga Pro, and it's based on the Antigua Pro graphics processor, which supports DirectX 12. This ensures that modern games can run on the card. The Antigua graphics processor is a large chip with 5,000 million transistors. Unlike the fully unlocked Radeon R9 380X, which uses the same GPU, but has all 2048 shaders enabled, AMD has disabled some shading units on the Radeon R9 380. The specs of the card are 1792 shading units, 112 texture mapping units, and 32 ROPs. 2GB and 4GB variants were produced. This one from MSI is the 4GB one. The GDDR5 memory is connected using a 256-bit memory interface. MSI overclocked a little bit the GPU, and the memory clocks to 980 MHz and 1425 MHz. Being a dual-slot card, the AMD Radeon R9 380 draws power from two 6-pin power connectors, with power draw rated at 190 watts maximum. As graphics card generations advance, older models like the Radeon R9 380 receive reduced driver support from the manufacturer. This means that, as time goes on, compatibility with newer games and operating systems could become an issue. The last official AMD driver is Adrenalin 22.6.1 from June 2022, which is not so long time ago. But newer third-party drivers are available too, thanks to the community. I'm not sure what the final name of the project is because it's been in development for several years, but Nimes or Amernime Zone or RID drivers are very popular alternative drivers. I managed to install the latest drivers version available at the time of recording this video, 23.7.2. This third-party driver should provide few more FPS in modern games. I was not sure with what system to test the GPU, with older CPU and with a greater probability of bottlenecking, or with newer and faster CPU. But in this case, it is unlikely that somebody will pair newer system with such an old video card. So I went with the more realistic scenario in my opinion. The Intel Core i5-4590 is a Haswell-based quad-core processor with 4 threads. It was released in 2014 and falls into the mid-range category of processors. While it is not the latest or most powerful CPU available today, it should work reasonably well with the AMD Radeon R9 380, particularly for gaming at 1080p. The system memory is 8 GB in dual channel. Let's play some games now. All the games are with 1080p resolution and low, medium or high preset settings. In the description of the video, you can see the exact preset for each game. First is the gameplay from the games, and in the end of the video are the in-game benchmark runs from Far Cry 6, Tomb Raider and Cyberpunk. Overall, older and highly optimized esport titles like CS:GO, Overwatch 2, Valorant and Fall Guys can be played. The FPS is not too high, but if you want more, you can drop the resolution to 720p. Sometimes there are short spikes and some games like Forza 5 warned that they need more than 4 GB. When I tried to run Halo, the game crashed. There was an incompatible DirectX 12 driver error message. Probably it's because of the community drivers. I have problems with Modern Warfare 2. The game doesn't want to update and I can't play it. But no matter what I play, I notice that the Radeon card is very hot, especially when I touch the backplate. Unfortunately, this has always been a minus compared to Nvidia cards. As a conclusion, some games can be played with the R9 380, but I would choose something newer with 1 or 2 generations. This is a big and hot card. Until the end of the video, you can see gameplay from the remaining games. Bye from me, and see you in the next one.
Repositioning. Not securing the objective. Mobilize here. Taking flight.